I'm Angela Allen, and last night my phone lit up with a text from Mom that felt like a knife to the chest. Keeping Christmas small this year to save money, just your sister's family. Hope you understand. Understand. After grinding my way from nothing to building a $350 million real estate empire, this is how they erase me like I don't exist. No, not this time. I shot back a simple okay, but inside the fire was lit. Within minutes, I was on the phone with my husband's brother. Get 25 of the family together. I'm flying everyone to Amangiri in Utah. Full luxury. First-class Christmas. He was stunned. Wait. Seriously. My answer dead serious. By the time we hung up, I had already locked in $80,000 worth of flight suites and a feast that would put any small Christmas to shame. They thought they cut me out, but what I'm building will make their little savings plan look like crumbs. And when Mom inevitably calls furious about me wasting money on others, my line is ready. Maybe you should save harder. This isn't about revenge, it's about reclaiming power. When the people who should love you most shut the door, sometimes the best move is to throw your own party and make it unforgettable. So if you've ever been pushed out of your own family's circle, hit that like and subscribe, because I'm about to show you exactly how to flip their rejection into the most satisfying triumph of your life. The sting of Mom's text clung to me as I paced my condo, old wounds ripping open. Christmas 1995 flooded back. I was 10, unwrapping a plain gray coat, while my sister Caitlin, glowing under the tree, tore into a sparkling dollhouse with every accessory imaginable. Mom's smile was all for her. Dad's camera stayed locked on Caitlin's face. My request for a science kit ignored as I stood on the sidelines with a forced grin. It wasn't just gifts. Dad blew off my parent-teacher conferences citing work, but cleared his calendar for Caitlin's soccer matches. She's our star, he'd say, while my math awards went unnoticed. At 15, I won a regional debate contest, but Mom brushed it off too showy, while Caitlin's cheerleading routines earned a framed photo on the living room wall. Family portraits told the same story. Caitlin always stood center, Mom and Dad's arms around her, while I lingered at the edge, sometimes half cropped out. You shifted, Mom would mutter when I asked why, but I stopped questioning after years of the same excuse, the hurt sinking deeper each time. I grabbed my phone, dialing Zachary, my husband's brother, my voice steady despite the churn inside. It's Angela. Mom just texted they're cutting me from Christmas to save money, only inviting Caitlin's family. Zachary's voice tightened. That's bull. They've always done this to you. What's the plan? I spilled it, flying 25 of the family to Amangiri in Utah for a Christmas they'd never forget. I'm talking full-on luxury, Zach. Everyone's invited: cousins, aunts, uncles, Grandma Denise. He laughed, already on board. That's huge. The desert vibes will blow them away. How many we got? We counted 25 from California to New York. Most can fly out of major airports. Zachary said, his excitement infectious. Grandma Denise will lose it. She's always said your folks treat you like garbage. We confirmed everyone's ready to jet to Utah, no holdouts. I'll rally the cousins, he added. This is gonna be epic. As we hung up, the pain morphed into drive. Their rejection wasn't my end, it was my start. Later that day, I sat at my desk, laptop open, diving into the logistics of making this Christmas unforgettable. My first call was to the airline, securing 25 round-trip tickets from cities like San Francisco, Chicago, and Boston to St. George, Utah, the closest hub to Amangiri. The agent's voice perked up when I confirmed the budget: $80,000 total, with $60,000 for flights alone. First class for the elders, I instructed, picturing Grandma Denise's face when she'd step into that cushy seat. I double-checked routes, ensuring connections were smooth for cousins flying from smaller towns, avoiding layovers that could delay the group. Next, I dialed Amangiri's concierge. The resort, nestled in Utah's Red Rock Desert, promised infinity pools overlooking canyons, sleek stone suites with private terraces and guided hikes under starry night skies, a far cry from Mom's budget dinner table back home. We need rooms for 25, I said, detailing private transfers from the airport and a dining pavilion for our feast. The concierge confirmed availability, quoting $15,000 for suites and setup, including fire pits for evening gatherings. I pushed for custom touches, bed linens in earth tones to match the desert vibe, and spa sessions for the aunts who'd need relaxation after the flight. I added a local Utah chef to the plan, insisting on a menu blending desert flavors with family classics: grilled quail, seasoned with local herbs, cactus salad fresh from regional farms, cornbread drizzled with agave nectar, and pecan pies for dessert. Make it hearty but elevated, I told the chef during our call, envisioning plates that would spark conversations around the table. He agreed, adding suggestions like vegan options for my cousin who's plant-based, ensuring no one felt left out. I wasn't done with preparations. I ordered personalized gifts through an online service: hand-woven wool blankets for Grandma Denise, who loves cozy evenings by the fire, a telescope for my niece Brandy 7, who's obsessed with stars and would love stargazing at Amangiri, engraved whiskey glasses for the uncles, complete with their initials, and custom journals for the teens to document the trip. Another $5,000 went to decorations: string lights to mimic constellations over the pools, cedarwood centerpieces for the tables, and branded water bottles with the family name for hikes. Every detail screamed intention, a deliberate contrast to the exclusion I'd just endured, turning this into more than a getaway. The phone buzzed mid-planning. My assistant, confirming logistics, asked, "You sure about this spend, Angela? It's adding up fast." I didn't hesitate. "Absolutely. It's not just a trip, it's a statement." She laughed. "Your family's gonna flip when they hear about it. I'll handle the confirmations." I smirked, imagining Mom's face when the news hit, her savings plan paling against this. I leaned back, running the numbers again one more time. Flights took the bulk at $60,000 for economy and upgrades, resort suites and pavilion at $15,000, chef and menu at $3,000, gifts and decorations at $5,000, transfers and miscellany rounding out the $80,000. Every cent was a brick in the wall I was building between their rejection and my reality. This wasn't about showing off. It was about creating something they'd never understand. A family that chooses me, gathers around me, celebrates with me. The bookings locked in. I closed my laptop, the weight lifting just a bit. The next evening, I dug through a storage box in my condo, pulling out a crumpled college acceptance letter from UCLA. I was 18, bursting into the kitchen to show Dad, my voice shaking with excitement. Full scholarship business program. He barely looked up from his coffee. "Business, Caitlin's teaching degree is more practical." He muttered, eyes fixed on his newspaper. Mom squeezed my shoulder, her tone dismissive. "We just want stability for you, honey." I folded the letter back into its envelope, the sting sharper than I'd let on. That wasn't the worst of it. When scholarship funds fell short, I needed a cosigner for a loan. I begged Mom and Dad, but they shook their heads. "Borrowing's risky," Angela, Mom said, clicking her tongue. Months later, I overheard them at a family barbecue boasting about refinancing their house to fund Caitlin's lavish wedding, $10,000 for a dress alone. "Every daughter deserves her dream day," Dad said proudly. I wasn't mentioned. I worked 3 jobs to stay in school. Mornings, I waited tables at a greasy diner, coffee stains on my apron. Afternoons, I shelved books at the campus library, dodging classmates who'd pity me. Nights, I freelanced real estate pitches, drafting proposals on a second-hand laptop in my tiny dorm. Exhaustion was my normal, but I graduated top of my class debt-free and started my company in a rented studio corner. Years later, I sold that company, built from late nights and grit, for $350 million. I called Mom and Dad to share the news, my heart racing. Mom answered, chatted about Caitlin's twins for 10 minutes, then cut me off. "Gotta go, Angela. No questions, no congratulations." The phone went silent, my triumph unheard. My thoughts snapped back when the phone rang. Denise, my husband's grandmother, her voice warm but edged with anger. Angela Zachary told me what your folks did cutting you out like that. It's disgraceful. I gripped the phone, her words a balm to old wounds. I'm hosting at Amangiri. I said, my tone firm. Everyone's invited, 25 of us, full luxury. Denise didn't miss a beat. I'm there, and I'll make sure every cousin, aunt, and uncle shows up. Your parents have been sidelining you for years. I should have called it out sooner. Her support fueled me. We'll make it unforgettable. I told her, picturing the desert resort glowing under Christmas lights. Good, she said. You're showing them what family really means. I'll bring my famous pecan pie recipe for the chef to use. We laughed, planning how the family would rally around me, not them. I set the phone down, the acceptance letter still in my hand. It wasn't just paper, it was proof of everything I'd built despite their neglect. This trip wasn't about outshining them. It was about claiming my place with people who saw me. Christmas morning broke clear over Amangiri, the desert sun glinting off red rock cliffs as our group arrived. The first vans pulled up, unloading cousins from California, aunts from Chicago, and uncles from Boston, their suitcases rattling on the stone path. My niece, Brandy 7, sprinted toward the infinity pool, her eyes wide. It's like a spaceship landed in the desert, she squealed, tugging at her mom's sleeve. I knelt down, grinning. Wait till you see the stars tonight, kiddo. The rest trickled in, 25 of us total, filling the resort's sleek courtyard with chatter and hugs. We kicked off with brunch in the dining pavilion, the chef's spread laid out on long cedar tables, grilled quail with sage cactus salad crisp with local greens, cornbread warm and sweet with agave. The uncles clinked their engraved whiskey glasses, toasting to new traditions. After eating, we split into groups. Some joined a guided stargazing prep talk, others played desert scavenger hunts with the kids. Joshua, my husband, stayed close, his hand brushing mine, as we watched Brandy chase her cousins, her telescope gift already clutched tight. The mood shifted when a sudden gust swept through, kicking up Utah's infamous red dust. It thickened fast, coating windows and dimming the sun. Then the lights flickered once, twice, gone. The pavilion went dark, murmurs rising. Power's out, a staff member called, rushing to check the generator. I tensed, but Denise took charge, her voice cutting through. No panic, folks. Grab your phone flashlights, let's make this fun. She started humming Amazing Grace, her weathered soprano steady. One by one, others joined, cousins, kids, even the shy teens' voices blending in the candlelit dark. Brandy climbed onto my lap, whispering, "This is cool, Aunt Angela." I hugged her, the warmth of the moment sinking in. Joshua leaned over, his arm around us both. "This is family," he said quietly, his words landing heavier than the dust outside. We kept singing, swapping stories between verses, Denise recounting her old Christmas tales and Uncle joking about his first desert hike. The generator stayed silent, but no one cared. Flashlights bobbed like fireflies, laughter weaving through the melody. The staff eventually rigged temporary lights, but the singing lingered, the group tighter than ever. As we moved to the fire pits outside, the dust settled, revealing a sky blazing with stars. Brandy pointed her telescope upward, gasping at the Milky Way. "You made this happen," Denise said, squeezing my shoulder. "They're missing out back home." I nodded, the weight of their absence lighter, now replaced by this circle of 25 who showed up. Joshua pulled me aside, his eyes soft. "You built something real here, Angela, not just a trip, a family that chooses you." I smiled, the truth settling deep. This wasn't their table, it was mine, and every seat was filled with people who mattered. The day after Christmas, my phone lit up with notifications. My nephew, a tech-savvy teen, had posted a photo series on Facebook from our Amangiri trip, the long dining table packed with 25 of us, fire pits, casting a warm glow as we sang the resort's red rock backdrop shimmering under starlight. His caption read, "Best Christmas ever, thanks Aunt Angela." Within hours, the posts exploded, shared across hometown church groups, family, friends, and neighbors' feeds. Comments poured in. "Wow, what a feast, and this looks magical." Then came the sharper ones. Why only 7 at your parents' place? What happened? I scrolled through my chest, tightening as the likes climbed past 300. A neighbor tagged Mom Brandy. Where were you guys? This is the real deal. Another from their church group. Thought your family always did Christmas big. The contrast was brutal. Our vibrant packed Amangiri celebration versus their quiet table of 7. Caitlin's crew barely filling the room. Social media laid it bare, and I didn't have to say a word. Then my phone rang. Brandy's name flashed Mom. I braced myself and answered. Angela, what the hell is this? She shouted, her voice shrill. You spent a fortune on those people, flying them to some fancy resort. But not a dime for us. Your own family. Her words dripped with accusation, as if I owed her for cutting me out. I stayed calm, letting her rant about wasting money on others while they scrimped to save. Finally, I cut in my tone. Ice cold. You wanted to save money, Mom. So save more. Silence hung heavy on the line. She sputtered. That's not what I meant. But I wasn't playing her game. You made your choice, I said, and hung up my hand steady despite the adrenaline. Joshua, leaning against the kitchen counter, had overheard every word. You nailed it, he said, his voice low but proud. They don't get to guilt you after what they did. I opened Facebook again, watching the comments multiply. A family friend posted a split screen, our packed Amangiri pavilion next to Mom's half-empty dining room, snapped by Caitlin's husband. This says it all, the caption read, racking up heart emojis. Church members chimed in, questioning why Mom and Dad skipped such a beautiful family gathering. The tide was turning, their savings excuse unraveling in public view. Joshua grabbed my hand, pulling me close. You didn't just throw a party, you showed them what they lost. I nodded, the weight of their rejection fading against the glow of those posts. This wasn't about rubbing it in. It was about owning my truth. 3 days later, my condo's buzzer sounded sharp and insistent. I peered through the peephole. Brandy, Kyle, and Caitlin stood in the hallway, faces tight with purpose. My stomach knotted, but I opened the door, standing firm in the threshold. What's this about? I asked, voice level despite the pulse hammering in my ears. Mom's eyes narrowed. Those Facebook posts. Angela, you're making us look bad. Dad nodded, arms crossed. You could have talked to us first. I stepped back, letting them in, but kept my distance. Talk. Like when I told you about my company sale and you hung up, I walked to my office, pulling a storage box labeled proof. Inside, a crumpled UCLA acceptance letter, pay stubs from 3 college jobs, and a faded journal. I set them on the coffee table, each item a weight I'd carried for years. I started with the letter. You called my business degree impractical, Dad, while Caitlin's teaching certificate got a party. Kyle shifted, muttering, we were looking out for you. I held up the pay stubs, diner shifts, library hours, freelance nights. I worked 3 jobs to stay in school because you wouldn't co-sign my loan. Mom opened her mouth, but I cut her off, pointing to a journal entry from 2007. You refinanced the house for Caitlin's $10,000 wedding dress. You said it was for your daughter's dream day. I was your daughter too. Caitlin, silent until now, looked away, her hands twisting. Angela, she said, voice low. I didn't realize how much they favored me. I was jealous, of your freedom, your success. You built something I never could. Her eyes met mine, pleading. I'm sorry. Can we fix this? The apology hung in the air, years too late. I shook my head, my voice steady. It's too late, Caitlin. You all chose who mattered. I turned to Mom and Dad. You built a narrative where I was never enough. I'm done trying to fit into it. Brandy's face flushed. We're your family, she snapped. Family doesn't exclude you from Christmas to save a buck. I shot back, picking up my phone. Joshua, watching from the doorway, gave a small nod, his presence grounding me. You've got this, he mouthed. I opened my contacts, highlighting Mom, Dad, and Caitlin's numbers. I'm done, I said, voice calm but final, and blocked them one by one, their names vanishing from my screen. Mom gasped. Kyle's jaw tightened, but neither spoke. Caitlin's eyes welled up, but I felt no pull to comfort her. I closed the box, the weight of those papers lighter now. "You should go," I said, gesturing to the door. They shuffled out, Mom muttering about embarrassment. Dad silent. Joshua stepped closer, his hand on my shoulder. "You stood your ground," he said, pride in his voice. I nodded, the finality settling in. This wasn't their story anymore. It was mine. A week into the new year, my phone buzzed with notifications, but I ignored the voicemails from Mom and Dad. Facebook was still ablaze from our Amangiri Christmas posts. My nephew's photos tables overflowing with food, cousins laughing by fire pits. The desert resort glowing under stars had spread beyond our circle. Neighbors in their Utah hometown group posted questions. "Brandy, why weren't you at Angela's gathering?" A church friend commented. "Thought your family did big holidays, where were you?" The thread grew, likes nearing 500 each one, a public jab at their choice to exclude me. Their small Christmas of 7 with just Caitlin's family became the talk of their tight-knit community. A neighbor shared a photo from Mom's house. Empty chairs, a sparse table, Caitlin's kids looking bored. "Not the same vibe," someone wrote, pinning it next to our vibrant Amangiri spread. Church members usually warm to Brandy, and Kyle grew distant, their invitations to Sunday potlucks drying up. In Utah's conservative circles, where family image matters, their absence from my event was a stain they couldn't wash out. "You made them look like fools," Joshua said, scrolling through the comments with a grin. I shrugged. They did that themselves. Then came the calls. Mom left a message. Her voice strained. "Angela, we're struggling with the mortgage. Can you help?" I listened, then deleted it. Dad tried next, mentioning their failed attempt to refinance the house again, payments piling up, credit strained after years of prioritizing Caitlin's expenses. "We're family," he pleaded. I didn't call back. They'd made their choice, and I wasn't their safety net. Caitlin texted once, a half-hearted, "Can we talk?" I left it unread, her apology from our last confrontation ringing hollow. I drove back to Amangiri that weekend, with Joshua joining Denise and a few cousins for a quiet follow-up gathering. The resort's stone suites felt like home now, the desert air crisp as we sat by the infinity pool. Denise handed me a coffee, her eyes sharp. "Your folks are reaping what they sowed," she said. "You don't owe them a thing." I nodded, watching the cousins play cards, their laughter filling the space. Joshua squeezed my hand. "This is what you built," he said, gesturing to the group. "Your family. Your rules." We planned another trip for spring this time, inviting even more of the family, maybe 30. The kids ran over Brandy, clutching her telescope, begging to stargaze again. I smiled, promising a bigger night sky next time. Back home, I checked Facebook one last time. A church acquaintance had posted, "Missed you at the community dinner, Brandy. Everything okay?" No reply from Mom. Their world was shrinking, their choices closing doors I'd once knocked on. The truth settled in as I stood by the resort's fire pit, Joshua's arm around me. Family isn't blood, it's the people who show up, who see you. I'd spent years chasing Mom and Dad's approval, but their rejection pushed me to build something better. My wealth, my work, my choices gave me the freedom to walk away. Self-reliance wasn't just about money, it was about choosing who deserves your time. I looked at the faces around me, warm in the desert glow, and knew I'd never sit at an empty table again.